Hyperspeed is back, and it's hyper cool. Hey guys, Paul Ronto here from RunRepeat, and today we're gonna check out the Asics Hyper Speed. It's super lightweight, it's super fast, it's designed as an entry-level race flat with weight and budget as the main focus. Before we get started though, I like to always talk about the updates. The Hyperspeed was a mainstay in the Asics lineup a long time ago. It went AWOL for the last couple years, but it's comeback day, baby. It's totally revamped though. It's a new shoe, so I'm not gonna compare it to the old Hyperspeed. We're just gonna talk about what this new shoe has to offer. Before we go any further, please hit the like button below. It helps us a ton. Also hit the subscribe button so when we drop new videos, you're updated and notified. Okay, as always, let's start with the pros. Let's talk about the upper first. A super lightweight upper, not a lot of padding, huge venting holes, it's very breathable, really no padding on the tongue here. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the tongue in the cons. Ultimately, ultra lightweight, breathable upper. Okay, the heel counter, not super soft like a lot of race flats, but not super stiff either. It's got a lot of give. There's a little bit of padding in this ankle, you know, more than your typical race flat. I like how it feels on my foot. It didn't give me the best lockdown. I'll talk about that in fit. You know, I like that it actually feels somewhat plush and comfortable for a race shoe. Okay, midsole. It's a simple EVA midsole, super lightweight, super nimble. It's not overly plush, obviously, but it's not overly stiff either. Feels good underfoot. It's got a nice transition. It's got something called the guide sole technology, which gives it a little bit of rocker and a nice toe off. You know, it's somewhat minimal, but it has enough padding and cushioning to do those medium to medium long distance runs without tiring out the bottom of your feet. It is a race shoe, so again, it's not super plush. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the cons. Okay, the outsole, again, super simple, lightweight. That's kind of the goal of this whole shoe, simplicity and weight. But it is a full coverage outsole, which I like. There's not a ton of exposed EVA midsole. It's got a few millimeters of rubber here. It should wear down slowly. It should give you plenty of longevity in this shoe. Not a ton of grip, but again, it's a race shoe, so most likely you'll be running this on dry cement or asphalt. Ultimately, I'm actually impressed with the outsole for the amount that this shoe weighs. Okay, let's talk about the cons. The upper first. You know, it's super light and airy and breathable, but it's not that flexible. I wish this upper was a little softer, had a little bit more give. I get it, it's a race flat, it's gotta have tight lockdown, but it runs a little narrow in my opinion. Again, it is a race shoe, but I would have wished for a little more flexibility and give in the upper. Tongue, no gussets. I wish they would have added a gusset. My other complaint is this hem that's around the top. It ends about halfway. It makes the tongue feel a little bit unfinished. It's a little bit floppy. I don't like that there's no gussets. There is a lacing guide on the top to kind of hold the tongue in place, but you really do have to place it into place when you put the shoe on and lace it up. I wish it kind of had a little more robust hem to it so it stayed in place a little bit better. Lacing, you know, it's a standard lacing system, nothing much to complain about here, but I'm gonna rate it as a con. I think the laces, are a little short. I did have a little bit of heel slip and they're a little too short to run a heel lock lacing technique. They're also really minimalist. I get it, they're trying to be lightweight, but they feel kind of cheap in hand. So I would suggest if you buy this shoe, upgrade the laces to something a little more robust and a little longer right out of the bat. Right out of the bat, right out of the box. Okay, heel counter, like I said, soft. I did have a little heel slip. The shoe feels a little bit shallow. Again, it's a lightweight racing flat, so I get it. But with the lacing system being a little short, I couldn't get that great lockdown in the heel. One other minor gripe, no heel loop. It's odd because they put this little strip of webbing on the back, but then it's like it got cut off by the shoe machines. I don't really know what this is for. There could have been a heel loop. Little small gripes on the heel ultimately. Midsole, a little bit of cons on the midsole. Obviously it's not super plush. It's not that sweet feeling of the flight foam that you see in the Gel Nimbus and the Gel Nimbus Light, but it's a race flat. It's not supposed to be super plush. It's not a daily trainer. I just would have liked a little more softness underfoot. Also, this platform is fairly narrow. I did feel that around turns and on uneven terrain. It was a little unstable. This shoe is really low to the ground, so it didn't have huge problems, but I can definitely feel the narrowness when I'm going around a tight corner. Okay, everyone, please, after this video, make your way over to RunRepeat.com. Check out the Hyper Speed. There's a ton of facts and stats that I'm not gonna go over in this video. There's reviews from experts, there's reviews from other users, there's links to where you can buy this shoe and the best prices. So make sure you check out RunRepeat.com after the video. All right, let's talk about things like fit, comfort, durability, and all that. Fit, this shoe felt a little narrow on me. Now granted, when this came in, I knew it was an Asics race shoe coming in, and I thought, great, I don't fit in Asics race shoes, they're super narrow. This actually did fit, so it's a little wider than most race platforms, but it still felt narrow on my slightly wider foot. The upper isn't very flexible, like I mentioned. So I think if you have a slightly wider foot, this is gonna run narrow on you. If you have a real wide foot, this might also run a little bit too narrow to even consider. So all in all, slight fit problems. It does work for me. I would have liked to been able to lock down that heel a little bit better and get a little more wiggle room up in the toe box. Comfort, we always like to talk about comfort. This is super crucial. This is not the world's most comfortable shoe. I mean, it's kind of stiff underfoot. The foam is pretty dense, doesn't have that plush feeling. It's very minimal on any padding or plushness on the upper, but it's a race shoe. It's light, it's fast. It just feels a little unfinished. They cut a few corners, I think, trying to make this super light, like the hem on the tongue. And yeah, it feels a little unfinished. Ultimately though, 5, 10K races, tempo runs, 5 to 7 miles, I think that this shoe is gonna excel. Anything longer than that, it may not have the comfort needed. Again, it's a race shoe. Weight, here's the major draw of the Hyper Speed. Men's 9 comes in at 7.48 ounces, so 7.5 ounces. Fantastic, lightweight, it feels light, it feels nimble, it's quick. I love that about this shoe, and I can overlook some of the comfort and the fit issues because how light it feels on my foot. Drop and stack, 21 millimeter in the heels, 5 millimeter drop. I like that they kept this low to the ground, lower drop than some of the other Asics we've seen lately that have that 10 millimeter drop. Definitely feels good for 3 to 5, 7 miles. I'm digging how they designed the drop on this shoe. Durability, it's a race shoe, so race shoes aren't designed to be super durable, but I do think this shoe will go, 200 to 300 miles, which is pretty good for a race shoe. And I actually am not concerned about the outsole or the midsole packing out. I'm more concerned about the upper deteriorating because the upper is really minimal and light. I've said it before, they cut a few corners on the upper. So that's where I think you might have a blowout earlier on in this shoe. Looks, I like how it looks. It looks like the Meta Racer. It looks like a racing shoe. It looks fast. Colors are cool. They have another men's color that is black with like some lime green accents. I think they did a good job here. Price, this is where the value is. 90 bucks retail. That's fantastic. I don't think there's any other race shoes in this category at $90. Most race shoes today are coming in at $250, $300. There's no carbon plate in here, so it doesn't have that high price tag of that technology. But it's a bargain shoe, and I think that they've done a great job keeping this shoe low priced for people who want to add a race shoe to their lineup or add a second or third speed workout shoe. A lot of people have one shoe that they run in. So now if you can get a second shoe, which is your speed and race shoe for under 100 bucks, I'm blown away. I think I can overlook a lot of the gripes I talked about, a lot of the cons because of the weight and the price of this shoe. It really is budget minded. I don't want to say it's cheap because cheap has a bad connotation, but under 100 bucks, it's a bargain. It's not your Hyperion Elite. It's not your Rocket X. This isn't a carbon plated race shoe, but it's fast, it's lightweight, it's nimble, it's thrifty, it's really easy on the pocketbook. I think this is a great shoe to add to anyone's lineup that wants to try adding a quicker shoe, a race day shoe, a tempo run shoe, something that's lightweight, a little stiffer, something that pairs well with maybe like a Gel Nimbus, or something that pairs well with the Gel Nimbus Lite 2, which I really loved if you haven't watched that review. Overall, very interesting shoe because of the price and the weight. They cut some corners, but I'm pretty impressed with what they're able to do at 7.5 ounces and under 100 bucks. Question of the day, do you have a race shoe or are you running races in your everyday trainer? I'd love to know what you guys think about having 2 pairs of shoes. Please comment below. That's it guys, I really appreciate you checking out this video. Get out there, go run, go do, be, run, repeat.